it like being a Strangler, and what do you do before you go on stage?
Well, I know that this lass is reticent for everybody to know who she is or where she is, but that's her there. Sorry. Well, being in the Stranglers is fantastic. I mean, being in any successful band, I think that you've loved and worshipped. I mean, I was, like probably many of you here, and you as well, I imagine, when I first heard the Stranglers, it changed everything for me, because they don't, oh, for fuck's sake. They don't sound like anyone else, and I think, sorry, I'll tell you what, I'll just wait until you're finished, all right? Yes, where was I? Yes, okay. I think everybody's goal when you first start a band is so that it's unique, completely unique, and that it doesn't sound like anyone else. And being a band that is like that is a privilege. So I'm thrilled to be in the Stranglers, especially after all this time. I mean, I had hair and a waistline when I joined the Stranglers. When we go into a venue, killing time is actually a real. I mean, I won't tell you how I used to kill time when I was younger, but it's actually true. We, now that we're older, our regimes and everything have changed quite a lot. So what we'll do is, in fact, well, there is a routine is very much part of it. You go on the road, you go to the venue, you sound check, you must stay at 4 o'clock if you're playing at 9, because you need 5 hours to digest your food. So we'll eat first, then we'll sound check, then we'll go back to the hotel room. I used to have an hour's sleep between 6:15 and 7:15 every night. What the rest of them did, I do not know. But then you'd have your shower. It's like, you know, I mean, it's a job, but it's also something that we absolutely love. I mean, how many people can say that they adore the job that they do? So you just, now that we're older, all I care about is just being fit enough to do it, you know, and however that may be, you know. That's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope that's...
That was a great question, Jane. I do want to open up the floor now. So if anyone has a question, can you raise a hand? We have a roaming mic. If you can wait till the roaming mic gets to you, from Michaela. Hello. So hands up who has a question. Should we go to this gentleman on my left?
That looks like Phil Dunn.
And anybody else on the right-hand side? Did we say? And then over. I said that I wouldn't send her from pillar to post, because that would be mean, right? So, Phil.
Baz, thank you very much indeed for tonight. It's been superb. First one I've been to, so thank you. I've got a 3-part Hugh Cornwell question, if that's all right. Sorry, Baz.
That's fine. Without him, I wouldn't be here. So
first of all, have you ever met him?
No.
Secondly, if you did meet him, what would you want to ask him? And thirdly, what's the most challenging song of his that you had to pick up?
No, I've never met him. I can't particularly think of what I would like to ask him. From what I can gather, he's quite a caustic individual, and he's. I've heard accounts from people where he's been quite kind about me, but you're suspicious when you know that Hugh Cornwell's saying something nice about you. Is what I've been told. I've never met him, so I don't know. The most challenging song would probably be a song called Baroque Bordello, because the vocal and the guitar are completely across each other, and it took me quite a while to learn how to do that. But it's one of those muscle memory things where you just keep doing it over and over and over again, repeatedly until you can do it in your sleep. So that was a difficult one, and when we nailed that for the first time at the rehearsal, me, Jet, JJ and Dave, that was quite a... you'd be surprised to know we went to the pub after that. And it was my request to do that because I wanted to, well, basically see if I could, you know. So.
Thank you.
No, pleasure.
There was one on your left.
So, thank you very much indeed this evening. And
Thank you.
as that gentleman said earlier, I think it's revitalising one of my favourite bands. I'm definitely in the Hugh Who camp when it comes to Stranglers. But my question is, you mentioned, you talked about the getting into the band, but was there a moment when you felt like, yeah, I am now a Strangler?
Yeah, the minute he asked me, you know, the minute JJ uttered those immortal words, I remember thinking, well, what am I going to say? Do you know what, lads? It's been nice, but nah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it was that day. That was a very strange day. I met a lad on the platform at Newcastle Central Station just before I got on the train to travel to London, he was a lad called Dickie Hammond, and he used to be in a band called Leatherface, who were the Sunderland punk band called Leatherface, who I just adored. Frankie Stubbs and the lads, we go back a long way. Dickie passed away, but the last thing he said to me was, "The Stranglers, eh? You jammy bastard." And I said to him, well, I'm only going for a blow. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen, you know. Travelling down on the day was a blur, but I just remember getting to the terminal studios at London Bridge and just feeling quite peaceful. I wasn't nervous. I don't get nervous, you know. I'm pretty lucky. Dave Greenfield, God love him, used to get really nervous, but you would never know, you know, because he would just drink 14 glasses of rum. But yeah, that day, and from that moment on, they welcomed me in, the four of them, and became a massive part of my life. You know.
Thank you. More questions? Hands. Gentleman on my left.
Yeah, thank you very much, Baz, for this evening. I think probably on behalf of all of us, that list of peaches was something else. And I also just wanted to say, you talk a lot in the book about birthdays away. This year you won't be away, so happy birthday for a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
My question is, I went to the movie at Brixton a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of talk in there about Jet's archives, Dave's archives, and the movie generally. And I know there's been a lot of issues with that. Do you see that ever coming out in any format, updated, or Jet or Dave's archives being released?
Well, no, they won't. I don't think those archives will ever be released. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, that's down to the people who look after their respective estates, you know. All I can say is that I've read Jet's archives. Some of the stuff is just magnificent. Dave's were more like diaries, and they weren't particularly detailed diaries, but it just kind of like what he did that day. The movie, it kind of goes in cycles. 1 minute we'll hear that it's off or on, the next minute we'll hear that it's off. The original thing where it wasn't going to be happening was because Hugh Cornwell put a kibosh on it with the music that was in it. And as he had a perfect right to do, I suppose, you know, being a cunt, I suppose. How can I say that I've never met the guy? That's what I felt about him at the time when I heard that. Okay, before anybody starts putting this online, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that, but I did at the time, okay? He decided that he didn't want, even though he refused to be in the movie, he didn't quite realise that it would be good for him too, you know, to have this anyway. So it went by the wayside, and then it was revitalised again, kind of for a little bit. I came to London about 2 years ago and did some interviews in a place in St John's Wood. They were going to upgrade the whole thing and update it. And to be honest with you, mate, at this particular point in time, I honestly don't know. All I know is that it took an inordinate amount of time and money to do, and lots of years, and there's some great stuff on there, you know, particularly with Jet and Dave, you know, God rest the pair of them. So your guess is as good as mine. I wish I could be a bit more definitive on that, Fee, because I would like to see it see the light of day as well, you know, but thanks for that.
Any more? Oh. Over here on my right,
There.
and then there was one down here. Yeah, third row.
Yeah, hi guys. I just want to say what a fantastic evening, man. Thank you very much. It's been brilliant. This might seem like a very trivial question. I just wondered, because I know obviously Gold and Brown has to be played virtually every gig you do, because it's the one most people want to hear. In 2000, I think it was 14, I was at the Sub 89 concert, Sub 89 in Reading, where you and JJ got a vote from the audience, and the Folly was played instead. Just out of interest, would you say from your history in the band that's probably pretty much like a one-off, if that makes sense?
What, that gig?
No, Gold and Brown not being played in your set.
Oh, no, we did it too. JJ absolutely steadfastly refused to play it. I don't know if anybody can remember that. I can't even remember when it was. It was a few years ago. We only did it when we got to Brixton Academy, I'm pretty sure.
The reason that night sticks in my mind, JJ gave the football score out. It was where Germany thrashed Brazil.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you never really want the Germans to win anything, but if they're going to win, beat Brazil in the World Cup final, so that's good enough. I remember that night very well. It was very hot, but we played. I mean, I understand, you know, how hardcore fans go, oh my God, it's the biggest hit they had, and why did they have to play it? But you've got to understand that when you play in a room full of 3,000 people, 2,000 people have come to hear that, you know. It is. Sorry. Yeah. I remember that night very well, and I remember thinking, oh bloody hell, La Folie. That cheery song. The thing about that is that the guitar line, if you make one mistake, if you believe you me, I have, and you incur the wrath, that 1,000-yard stare turns around. And then he said to me afterwards, what happened there? I said, well, I made a mistake. People do.
We had a question here, Michaela.
I'll do a quick one here.
Oh, yeah.
Baz, gentlemen, good evening and thank you again.
Thank you.
We came 2 weeks ago and hope you're enjoying it as much as...
Very much so. It's a fantastic place. Fantastic.
Baz, it's not a question, it's about mobile phones getting off during gigs. I don't know if you're going to remember this, but on the Norfolk Coast tour...
Yes, I remember, yes.
During the afternoon on the day of the gig in Nice, you and JJ did an acoustic session before on the basement floor of a music shop, and it was very well attended, lots of French people and 4 of us who'd flown down from the UK.
Okay.
You started off with Fading Dutch Moon, and that lovely long outro ending that you and JJ used to do, and halfway through the song, on that side of the room, there was a French man. There was a French man with a satchel on, and he took a phone call. My French is quite good. He took a phone call, I think from his wife, when she was asking him to buy some shopping on the way home. You got to the end. You and JJ got to the end of the song, and he's still on the phone. And you said to him, "Is it all right if we continue?" And he didn't understand what you said. So JJ, with his 1,000-yard Death Star, translated you in French to "C'est possible à continuer." And he carried on his call, and then whatever your next track was, he was still talking and then just left. Do you remember that at all? It was hilarious.
No, I don't. I can completely see how it happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a recurring theme.
well, it seems to be, doesn't it? A, he was French, and B, he was wearing a fucking satchel. So what do you expect?
So no question, but thank you again for seeing me.
No, no worries. Thank you. Cheers. It's a constant infuriating thing. The mobile phone going off. I don't mind it being pointed at me. I mean, I understand that's what the crack is, but when people just don't realise it, it's I'm so sorry. You know.
Hey, Baz, how you doing?
I'm good. Where are you? There you are. Sorry. Phil.
It is.
Hello.
Given the emotion surrounding it and all the effort you, JJ, Jim and Louis put into recording Dark Matters, how proud and surprised were you at how it ultimately turned out and how it was received? And then, what do you feel the next album, what vibe will the next album have in your opinion? What would you like it to be?
Well, first of all, talking about Dark Matters, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is Phil Johnson, who did all the artwork for Dark Matters, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. It was a very difficult record to make. The whole vibe was that we would finish it because we started it in the middle of 2019, and then we went on the road for the rest of the year. And it kind of got put to one side, knowing you don't have a record deal, there's no constraints, nobody's breathing down your neck to get release dates, come on. So we knew we were going to do one, we were just pleasing ourselves. When we lost Dave, it became a matter of utmost importance to us, JJ and I. I mean, we decided that at the very least we should finish the album that we started with Dave, and listening back to some of the tracks where you can hear Dave talking back to the engineer with a mic on. I mean, he's in the room and it's emotional, you know, it's very emotional. When he passed away, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I broke my heart. I really did, and JJ did as well. And he wouldn't mind me telling you, it was an awful time. That was. He was taken far too young, Dave Greenfield, even though he was 71 and a sarcastic old twat sometimes. I absolutely loved the bones of that bloke, and he was a genius. So it was important, and because it was still locked down, we couldn't get together. So I recorded massive amounts of guitar and vocals and stuff at my house. When we were able to get together, we went down to I went down to the south of France to Jay's house, and we worked through some other stuff. And just little by little, it emerged. And when it did emerge, I mean, when you're making a record, it's the same as when you're writing a book, I suppose. I mean, that's the only one I've ever done. But it's so all-encompassing, you're so absorbed in it, that when it's finished, Norfolk Coast, great record, Sweet 16, great record, Giants, kind of record, not great, there's some good stuff on it, I suppose. I didn't really want to hear any of them again because we'd worked so long and hard, but Dark Matters, maybe it's just because of what it represents and the time that it represents. I listen to it still. I listen to it in the car. I'm very, very proud of that record. It's the best record that the Stranglers have made in my time, I think. It doesn't have Jet Black on it. It doesn't have most of Dave Greenfield. Dave's on about 8 tunes, I think. So that was difficult, but sonically it's a great record. I think if you take the emotion away from it, and the circumstances under which it was made, if you take all those things away, just as a body of work, if you didn't know about the background of it, and you listen to the songs, great record. It's a great record. There's some great songs on there, and I'm, rowing my own boat, I suppose I would say. say, but it's a really good record. So that we got through that and that we achieved it the way we did made us very proud. And I'm not ashamed to say that when it got into the top 5, I got fucking hammered. I did. I got absolutely. And I ran JJ up and he went, "Hey, fucking hell, man." I said, "Oh, I wish I was with you," you know. And he said, "Yeah." And we were both drunk on opposite sides of the water, you know what I mean? It meant a lot to us, that did. But the next one, I think it'll just be full of joy. In particular, some stuff, and I've just been working on a thing at home, probably within about the last 10 days, which is a serious kick up the arse. It's a really fast, punky tune, and I think it would be nice to do some stuff like that again, you know, with Toby, who's extraordinary, and Toby also writes, which Dave didn't really write much. Toby writes all the time, so there's a lot of scope, you know. That's a good question, Philip, young man, and it's nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you.
Now, we're going to have to close the question.